This is the HiBoy S2 Max e-scooter, a 500 watt folding scooter chock full of features that'll help you get around and do the things you need to do. Let's talk about it for a second. It has cruise control, top speed of 20 miles an hour, 40-mile range, 500 watt motor, regenerative braking. That's a big deal. You can see the headlights on. It's got a cute little tail light down there on the bottom. The gauge, let's look at the gauge real quick. It's very simple. I don't know how well it's gonna read on camera, but it's all LED, which makes it super easy to see in bright light. It's got this really charming little bell on it. Look at this. How cute is that? And it folds up for easy transportation. Let's show you how that works. You have this little handle down here on the bottom. Goes down like this, right? And here's the cool part. See this little thing right here? There's a little hook on the back side of the handlebars, and that's it. And we can pick it up and we can carry it. And then of course to redeploy, we just lift it up, hook it back together, and we have a portable folding scooter. But what is it like to ride? Don't worry, we'll get to that. But first, how hard was it to put together? Check this out, what just showed up. I'm super excited about this. Let's put it together. It's great footage of me looking for the blade. All right, gives us instructions. Remove inner foam, take out the scooter, fix the steering tube, unfold the kickstand, connect the power cable between the handlebar and the steering tube, use the Allen wrench to install 6 screws to make sure it's tightened. This one should be pretty easy. I think we're gonna be able to ride this one pretty soon. Oh, we got stuff right here. We got parts. Oh, that's our charger and our 6 screws. Looks like we have pneumatic tires with a little tire pressure indicator. That's a nice little feature. It says remove the foam, but the foam doesn't want to remove. Right. I think their instructions are wrong. I think we're just gonna lift it out. Well, that wasn't super hard. So we got some more stuff in the box here. Spare inner tubes. There's our cute little kickstand. I think this is even easier than what the instructions said. Front brake. Oh, that's a cute bell. And I'm guessing that's our throttle. This is pretty straightforward. Almost all things like this, get them all started before you tighten any of them. If you tighten one and then tighten the next one, invariably something will be out of alignment. You got to appreciate how easy this is to put together. No complaints from me. Yeah, I think we're assembled. Okay, now let's take it for a ride. This is what you've been waiting for. What is this thing like to ride? And see if it's something you might be interested in. What are the pros and cons of the HiBoy S2 Max? Look at this beautiful morning. Man, it is nice out here. It's been super hot. Woke up this morning, we got some clouds, a little bit of a drizzle. No complaints from me. So, the HiBoy S2 Max, what do we think of it so far? First thoughts when you get on the thing is you feel like a kid, right? One thing that I kind of forgot about scooters is you do most of your steering with your feet. So remember that if you hop on one of these, if you haven't been on one for a while. All right, 11% grade. We're gonna see how fast it'll go. This is our speed test. Tiny little wheels. I'm a little nervous. We're already up to 25 miles an hour. I'm not even touching the brake and it's regenning it. 26, 27, 27 miles an hour on the HiBoy S2 Max. I should mention, however, that the motor stops kicking in at 19 miles an hour, and that's a good thing. That's what we want. You don't really want to go that fast on one of these. Features, let's run through the features really quick. A 500 watt motor. That's a lot of motor, especially for something this small and this light, which is great because, you know, we come in different shapes and sizes, and if you're on one of the larger end of the scale, you don't have to worry that this thing won't be able to move you around. 500 watts, that's great, that's awesome. In fact, a lot of your high-end e-mountain bikes are in the 300 watt range. The cargo e-bikes, 300 watt motors. This thing has a 500 watt motor. Woohoo! It does not have suspension. So, you got to keep that in mind going uphill. This is a really steep hill. We're going 14 miles an hour up the really steep hill. Doesn't seem to be a problem. The gauge, that little line on top, hopefully you can see it. It's not mismatching the shutter of the camera. You can tell how hard it's working by the little line on top. We have the speed in the middle, and if you can see it, we have the battery charge. We're at a full charge. And we're going through these nice little corners, and it's just easy and fun, man. Easy and fun. Not worrying about what gear I'm in. I just push the button and go. Nice and stable. I think that's really got to be mentioned through here, is we're going pretty quick, and 23 miles an hour, and we're stable, right? Like, obviously I could make it unstable if I did some herky-jerky abrupt movements. A little bit of brake there. But this is nice. Now here's the big test. This is the super steep hill. Some of the e-bikes that I get to ride struggle going up this hill. Let's see how the HiBoy does. All right, full throttle. 18, 17, slowing down a little bit. 16, 15, 13. 13 miles an hour, that's 12. Again, this is a super steep hill, man. Probably doesn't show up on camera, but this is crazy steep. 12 miles an hour. We dropped down to 11 miles an hour. We did 11 miles an hour up an 11% grade hill. That's saying something. Man, it's a beautiful morning. Cool breeze, a little bit of a drizzle. Ooh, I should wipe the lens off. Hopefully there were no spots on the lens. See, it's a 15 mile an hour bike path. We're going 21 on our HiBoy S2 Max. Oh, we're going through a tunnel. We're gonna use the bell. Isn't that cute? Nice little bell. I really love how these bike paths have been cropping up. It is really an amazing way to kind of just get around. So for those short little runabouts, you're gonna run to the post office, you're gonna run up to the grocery store. And I keep saying this, but it's just so much fun. It's recreational. Your little errand is now like playing around. All right, what do you say we do a lap or two around the park? Here we are, Sugar House Park. Let's do a couple laps. Looks like we got some soccer things taking place. Football. Little fun fact, the term soccer was actually coined by the English. English like to shorten all the words. They would take the word association, they would shorten it to ASSOC period, and that turned into the term soccer. And then they switched back to the term football, never told us Americans. We still use the term soccer. They went back to football, but it's their fault, and they give us a hard time. So because this thing doesn't really have suspension, it's not awesome off-road. Let's do a little test here on this little single track. I mean, it'll do it. I don't love it. Wow. Tiny little wheels, little slippy, little bumpy. This thing really does excel on asphalt. The deck, where I'm standing, let's talk about that for a second. It's a nice big deck. I'm not sure if I'm goofy foot or regular foot, but it's pretty easy for me to shift my stance. Right? Put my left foot forward, put my right foot forward, whatever's comfortable. Sugar House Park is quiet this morning. The drizzle is keeping people away. Man, a lovely morning. I know I keep saying it, but this is nice out here. So since it is a drizzle, let's talk about another advantage of a scooter versus a bicycle. Tires are way down there below me. They both have full fenders on them, which means I'm not getting a splash of water up my back. I'm staying quite a bit cleaner than a bicycle that would be flinging moisture all up my back end. There we go, 16 miles an hour up the hill, catching up to the bicycles. This thing is actually chock full of features. It has cruise control. Yeah, cruise control. I don't have it turned on, but it's simple to operate. You just hold the throttle in position for 5 seconds. It'll beep at you and it'll hold that speed until you touch the throttle again or touch the brake, and then the cruise control disengages. The app for this thing is actually pretty cool. It does a lot of things. It has multiple speed modes. It'll track your distance, the battery charge level. It just uses Bluetooth. Installed the app, pairs right up. The regen braking, I think the regen braking is great. I'm always surprised how many of the e-bikes don't have it. It seems like an easy way to kind of regain some charge. What else does it have? Oh, it has a headlight and a tail light. To turn the headlight on, you hold the power button on, and it turns on. Now I have the headlight on. I think that's really important if you're gonna be riding on public roads. You know, most car drivers are not accustomed to seeing all these little e-vehicles motoring around and how fast they actually go, right? 20 miles an hour. That's the residential speed limit. Well, actually, that's the speed limit on the road we're on right now, is 20 miles an hour. And it's not something most car drivers are accustomed to seeing, so that added visibility is really welcome. I mean, we're keeping pace with the automobiles. Gets a little snuggly through here. Got a skier. Suffer sticks. And you know, I think the intention for these things is kind of more utilitarian, more commuter, go to the gym, do things. But there is just a recreational component of I'm just gonna go out and go for a little ride, see what's going on. Woohoo! Bumps, handles the bumps just fine. It is stable. Look at the mountains up there. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, it's time for the adventuring portion of our video. We're gonna do a little exploration through the, I guess you'd call it the Midlands of the park, since I seem to be on a UK kick this morning. See, a bicycle on sidewalks is really, you'll get a lot of scowls from people. But a scooter on the sidewalks, nobody seems to care. I am not going to attempt going up that hill on the scooter. Maybe we should try it. Should we try it? Let's try it. Let's just see what happens. We're gonna see if we can make it up this crazy steep, grassy hill. All right, here we go. It's bumpy. Oh, not quite. It just started spinning out. We'll try some angles. It's not really a fair test because little teeny wheels on wet grass. We'll give it a little help here. Add some analog power. It's a lot to ask of it. We're making it. We're doing it. Keeps spinning. Yeah, I think we need a little bit chunkier, knobbier tire for something like this. Woohoo! Through the grass. Definitely adventure-y. Wet grass. Gotta be careful of the throttle. It spins out. Ooh, I did a wheelie there. 500 watts of power. 500 watts of power. To get the thing rolling, if you're at a dead stop and you just push the button, it's not gonna do anything. You gotta give it a little bit of a kick and get it moving, and then you can go into the throttle. And we're off. If you're on the fence trying to decide between a bicycle and a scooter, right? Things to consider. This is way easier to put together. It's way easier to operate. There's no maintenance, there's no chain to deal with. It's lighter, you can put it in the trunk of your car. We already talked about this a little bit, but you could scooter to the train station, hop the train, get off the train, and go wherever you need to go. You run out of battery somewhere along the line, you know, it might happen. Call an Uber. You can get home. These are all things that would be very challenging with a bicycle. Storage is easier. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of space. You got an apartment. This is easier to manage than a bicycle. Bicycles take up a lot of room. As far as getting around town, this does it just as good as a bicycle. In fact, it's almost the same speed. And that's what makes these things not only fun to ride, but really practical. Yes, it's highly recreational. It's fun to ride these things. You're going through these bridges, you're seeing the side of your town that maybe you don't get to see all that often. They are massively practical. All right, so let's be fair. What are the disadvantages of a scooter versus a bicycle? If you do run out of battery and you don't have an Uber or whatever, pushing this thing along like an old push scooter, it's kind of a lot of work. You really need the battery for this thing to function. The small wheels, right? You kind of want to stay on smoother surfaces because the wheels are so little. And it can be a little twitchy if you're abrupt with your inputs. A bicycle is going to be more stable. This thing for a scooter is surprisingly stable, but not as stable as a full-on bicycle. But I keep coming back to just how simple and easy this is to live with and operate. Hop on, push the button, and away you go. That's appealing. Gotta ring the bell again. Ah, it's so cute. All right, it is not a fair review unless we talk about what we don't like about the HiBoy S2 Max. I don't got a lot for you. The thumb throttle, not a huge fan. If it's bumpy or whatever, it's a little harder to control and be super precise. What you end up doing with the throttle is you just leave it on max all the time, and you know, that burns through the battery a little faster. I would rather it had a twist throttle, you know, like a motorcycle. I think that'd be a little bit more intuitive. The other thing with the thumb throttle is because your thumb is off the handlebar, you don't really have as firm of a grip as you would with say a traditional like motorcycle throttle. Is it that big of a deal? No, it's not that big of a deal, but we got to say something. What else don't we really like about it? It'd be nice if maybe the tires were a little bit bigger, but that comes with a pretty big con. You know, once the tires and wheels get bigger, it's harder to transport. It's a little bit more cumbersome. So, I don't know. Maybe this wheel size isn't a con. What else? I don't know. I don't really have much. I really like it. I think it's really fun to ride. It's really easy to ride. It's really easy to live with. All right, so final thoughts. What do we think of the HiBoy S2 Max? Quite honestly, it has exceeded my expectations. I'm more of a bicycle guy. I'll openly admit that. But there's something about the simplicity of this thing. You know, you're not dealing with a derailleur or, you know, all the mechanical components. You just get on it, you push the button, and you go. And because it's smaller and lighter, it's so much easier to transport, you know, commuting, right? You have a train commute. No big deal. The thing folds up, you carry it, you get on the train, you get off the train, you go where you need to go. 500 watt motor, that's super awesome. You can go plenty fast, you know, a 40-mile range, fantastic. Who wants to stand up for 40 miles? Would I recommend it? Absolutely, I would recommend it. I think for the price, you kind of get a lot. The build quality is really good. It's solid, it's stout. HiBoy's been around for a long time. It's a known brand. They have a good reputation. You're not buying some fly-by-night product that you may never hear from again. If you want one of these, I do have an Amazon affiliate link for you down in the description. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out. But better than that, if you buy from HiBoy, I have a coupon code for you for a nice little discount. I had so much fun riding with you today. If you're considering the HiBoy, give it a look, check it out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.